Well, howdy, hi, howdy, ho. Good evening, all. Good evening, good evening. We are here for our live at 5. We're going to give YouTube and Facebook a chance to tell all the people that we're here. We want them to tell the people that we're here. Yes, I want Facebook and YouTube tell the people that we're here. Yes, do that for us, please. Please do that for us. You don't mind. We got some good stuff we're going to go over today, as usual. We're going to look at last week's run of what we saw in the market. We're going to look at what we see coming up for this coming week. We're also going to, I don't know if I need this. We're also going to look at some trade ideas for this week, see what we got to work with for this coming week. Some trade ideas, do some charting, see what we got coming. Franco, hi Gianfranco. It's been a while since I've seen you. Hi. Hey Ward, how you doing? Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Hanging out here together, seeing how last week went. Listen, I want to know, did you all do well last week in the market? Share with us what kind of money. You don't got to tell me what kind of money, but you can put in there whether you made some money last week or not. Did you make some money? I know a few people had positive weeks, and some of us had some breaches that went on. So let's talk about those. Got some trade ideas. Hopefully you've seen the graphic that includes all the trade ideas for this coming week. I'm doing well, Ward, and we can go from there. All righty. Looks like we got about 5 or 6 people. You made a little money, made some monies. Woo, woo, woo. There we go. I made some monies. I made some money. Yeah, you made some money. Wonderful, wonderful. Wonderful. Yes. Okay. I'm going to take us to share this screen so we can Tanya, you did. I hope you watched the video because it was a really good session yesterday. Got a lot of good information. I think Janae might have missed it yesterday too, because Janae, I don't think was there either. Let me see. I'm gonna share my screen, my chart screen, and see what's going on here. Are you sharing it? There we go. I wanted it to share screen 1. Why are we sharing? Feels like we're on screen 2. Share screen. Yes. And we're going to share screen 1. Okay. Unless it's changing up what's screen 1 and what's screen 2. There we go. I needed to be in on the wins and lessons. Yeah. Hey, Janae. Yeah, the wins and lessons was good. You would have shared a little bit. People were a little shy to share yesterday. I'm not sure why there was such shyness yesterday with the wins and lessons. We had a few people to share wins and lessons, and it was good. All right, so this what we're looking at on the screen is we're looking at last week, this past week. This last candle here is the week we just came out of. Doji week, but this would be called a what? Hammer time. Psh, 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 psh. Y'all can't see me. I'm doing moves and y'all can't see me on the camera. So let me put it where I can be on the camera too. So that way y'all can see me. Bring the mouse back. Drop the beat. Okay, so hammer. What does a hammer generally say we're going to happen? Hey, Lisa. Hammer definitely tells us we've got some more motion potentially, right? Of course, nothing's ever the same. Everything. But listen, this is letting us know that we got a hammer with this long wick and we're trying to go up a little bit more. Notice here we do have, I'm working with that screen, but I need to be working with this one because this is where the chart actually is. We've got some resistance up at 52.56. And at this point, we've got support at 49.65. And we've climbed up each week, right? We're back into the green going with the trend that's been going. Notice how this moving average here, the 20 period moving average, played support. Pew, pew, pew. Right at the bottom of this, that 20 period moving average has played support, and it will continue to do that on all the time frames. These moving averages work on all the time frames. Okay, I'm changing us to the daily chart now. That was us looking at what last week had to hold for us. And this is the daily chart. What do we have for the days? Okay, so we got another support here, 50.19. 50.19. We've got some gaps now that have been created. And of course, SPX likes to go ahead and get those gaps. Don't know when it will do that, but SPX does like to fill its gaps. There's a gap there, and there's a gap here between these two, right? We've got a couple sets of gaps there that are going to want to be filled. We've got some resistance. Let's find our resistance on the daily chart. I probably would go with this one here. This gap here got filled for the most part. It's not fully filled. This gap got filled by part of this candle, but there's still a little bit of it that's here. I'm going to put it right there. There's a little more gap on the top side of that one. And we've got coming down, coming down, coming down. All this is momentum. There might be a pause right in here. Let me see if I change it to a line chart. Nope, that pause there is too small to be called a pause, but there is some resistance, right? Well, this may be support right in here. No, I don't want it to be a box. I want the line. Right in here should be something. And then in this 50.70 should be something. I'm going to take us back to the candles. Anytime you can't clearly see the support and resistance zones, you can change it to the line chart. Any place where the price stops or pauses, like a chair that you can call, or peaks and valleys, you can call that support and resistance. Okay. So we're currently at 51.27. Below that, we do have support now at this 51.14 line. This 51.14 is going to play support partway through that gap. And you know, halfway through the gap is also going to play support. Halfway through this gap, we can count that also 25%, 50 cents, 75%. We can count all those as support as well. So let me go ahead. If I was eyeballing halfway through the gap, I'd probably be in here somewhere. That's me just eyeballing it. Right, almost to where that wick came down to. Let me get us a little bit bigger candles so we can see what actually went on. There we go. And make this a little bigger. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Come. There we go. And then resistance, though, is at 51.99. Now, there's got to be some resistance here in the middle of it, because all of this, here we go. If we look at this one here where this candle came down and reversed, that's going to be some resistance now. Remember, support and resistance are interchangeable. What can be support back here, now that the price is below it and comes back up to it, it's now resistance. So our resistance, I'm looking at 51.46. But if we look back at the weekly chart, we can see that according to what the weekly chart is showing, we may have some more green going into next week. Notice, let me go ahead and make it big enough so all can see. With that last candle being a hammer, such that it is, hammers generally indicate a little more upwards movement, right? Yep. Hey, Janae, she's watching the replay. Good from yesterday. Good job. Hey, Johnny. Hey, Karen. Hey, Adrian. And hey, Karen LaBruce. Hey there. Hi, everybody. That's what SPX did last week, right? Let's look a little bit at triple Q. See what triple Q is. And it moves very, of course, but did, you know, the tech stocks, we had a few this week. That always testing piece in earnings when we have lots of trades. Apple made a good move at the end of the week. Microsoft had some. Was Microsoft last week? What am I thinking of was last week? I know Apple was. Somebody earlier in the week had earnings. Some big boys earlier in the week had earnings. Now I can't remember now. Hey, Asleen, how we doing? Okay, this is triple Q. Again, chart looks a little bit like SPX, but let's put us some lines on it. This is the weekly chart. Look at this. That candle looked just like this. All this looked, that's just the same as SPX. Same situation. We can look up here at the resistance now, a little closer, 444. And we're right in here. This is some as well, 436. Current price is at 435.48. This is a huge hammer, long wick, so it's going to probably try to push through, but it is at some resistance. So we'll keep our eye on that as we trade for the week. Yes. Let's look, though. I think we got SP. We looked at SPX. We looked at Triple Q. We can look at SPY. SPY is definitely going to look like SPX because it is the ETF, but it does run a little different. Yeah, if anybody who trades SPY knows that its SPY runs a little bit different than SPX. It's not a 1-for-1, or it's not a 10%. It's not an exact 10%, but notice that the candles and such do look very similar. Down, up, long wick. Looks like it's gonna go on up some more as well. Resistance, actually, this resistance and we're on the weekly. I'm on the weekly chart here. I probably should go back and look at the daily so I can make sure we get daily zones for Triple Q. But this is weekly, is a resistance at 513. I'm going to go back to Triple Q and get a daily chart. So we can see what might be some opportunities for this week. Listen, if you made some money last week using the strategies of Educator to Trader, please put money bags into the comments in the chat. Let the world know that we're making money over here. We're making money, right? We're using seller strategies and generating profits. For the month of May, though, we are doing what's called Sim May. I do have a graphic. We're going to talk about that in a minute, but we've got Sim May. And why are we doing that? It's that we're going to get leaned in on some of these strategies so we can make sure that we're ready for to take them live with live money. Yeah, I do see, Jamie, that you're saying that Triple Q is right there in a support area. A resistance area. It's actually right above this one. It's in the zone, though. Get in the zone. And it's got room. This is weird because on the weekly chart, looks like we still want to make some upwards moving, going upwards, but we are in what would be a resistance zone at this point, or a sale zone, however you phrase it, or your terminology. We are also there as well between 433, 436. We're up in here in the zone, 436.68. Karen said she made some money. Yeah, listen, there should be a few more dollar signs in here. Jamie said that Triple Q is essentially retesting a sell zone. All right. What do we have coming up for this week? Well, let's look at our meetings coming up. We've got now, the title to my video, the title for this YouTube video was, do we have hurdles or do we have cool runnings, or we got smooth sailings? And we don't have a lot of data or meetings or, external things that could potentially cause us some issues. But, the market will do what the market will do. Monday, we've got 1250 FOMC member Barkin is speaking, and then Williams is speaking at 1 o'clock. Loan officer survey, that's all Monday. Tuesday, we've got RCM and TIP economic optimism and consumer credit month over month. That's Tuesday. Notice all these I've said so far are yellow folders, which is low volatility expected. Wednesday morning, we've got final wholesale inventories month over month, crude oil inventories. FOMC member Jefferson will speak. All that's in the morning. At 1 o'clock, we've got the 10-year bond auction. Now, that 10-year bond auction is orange because it will cause a little bit of volatility, right? That's on Wednesday at 1 o'clock. It will cause a little bit of a jump, pump, or move, however you want to phrase it. That it will do that. 1:30 on Wednesday, FOMC member Cook is going to speak. Thursday, though, this is where our first red folder shows up on Thursday. Unemployment claims, mortgage delinquencies. They probably ought to put this as at least an orange, not just yellow. But it says it's tentative. Maybe they won't share that data with us. It's a tentative. It may not show up. Natural gas storage at 10:30. The 30-year bond auction is at 1. So 10-year bond auction on Wednesday, 30-year bond auction on Thursday, at both of those at 1 o'clock. And on Friday, we've got Friday morning, 9 o'clock. FOMC member Bowman is speaking, 10 o'clock. We've got University of Michigan consumer sentiment and the inflation expectations. Those are red folders. Barr will speak at 1:30, and the federal budget balance is at 2 o'clock. So we've got 2 days of red folders, Thursday and Friday, which may mean that, there may not be a lot that happens or goes, too much heaviness on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. We really have to wait and see. And as I always tell my community, we trade what we see. We trade what we see. Janae put some money bags in the comments. Good job, because listen, I know a few more people made some few dollars based on what we got going over here. Okay, so here we go. Earnings for this coming week. Before market opens tomorrow, we're going to have Spirit Airlines, BioNTech, Crystal, Axum, Tyson, TSN, JLL. I think TSN is on in fact, it's on the watch list. But when I was looking at the watch list, there was no blue there. Okay. I can't see what that is. Alpha Napco Fresh Pet. This is all Monday morning before the market opens. Oh, that's Berkshire Hathaway. That's what that is. Berkshire Hathaway is the one that I couldn't tell what that was. That's Berkshire Hathaway. Monday after close, anticipated, ding, 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 Palantir. Folks are seeing what Palantir is going to do. Symbotic, him and hers, Lucid. I really wanted Lucid to be doing better than they've been doing. I think they're like $2 or something now. I really thought Lucid was on their way with the electric vehicle stuff. Those cars are really nice. If you've seen a Lucid online, they are really nice. I mean, in person, not online. If you've seen a Lucid live, I've seen them, on the street. They're nice vehicles. Realty Income is also coming up. Realty Income is a REIT, REIT. So those who are into REITs, Realty has earnings on Monday after close. RKLB, Axon, Microchip, Vertex, and Teradata. Those are on Monday. Tuesday morning, we got Disney. Celsius is here. Datadog, the Crocs, Nikola. Looks like this is Porsche. BP is here, which is fuel. I guess, does fuel fall in energy? Probably. Rockwell Automation, Builders First Source, and Jumia. Tuesday morning, Rivian. Now, Rivian's had some really good stuff being talked about, so Rivian might be another one of those anticipated earnings. I actually like the Rivian trucks. They are pretty smooth. I heard a story or saw a story, read somewhere that somebody was like, he was in this car and he thought a sports car, thought it was a performance vehicle. He got next to the Rivian and the Rivian gassed on it and left the dude in the day. He's like, wait, no, it made him go look for Rivian stock. Like, wait a minute, there's something really going on. If they can run it like this, what's the deal? So anyway, Rivian may be something to check into, not investment advice, just saying you might want to look into it. Arista, I guess that's still the records, or Arista. Upstart is here. When Lyft is on Tuesday after close. Oxy, Twilio, Toast, Reddit, and Confluent. Wednesday morning before open, we've got Uber, Shopify. I'm sure both of those are anticipated. Affirm, another one. ACM, ACM Research, Avadel, Toyota. Yes, I like Toyotas. Emerson, EchoStar, Perion, and Adidas or Adidas. Wednesday after close. Nope, go back. I'm not finished there. Wednesday after close, we've got ARM, which ARM I want to say is in the Bitcoin space. Isn't it in the cryptocurrency space? Robinhood is here. Airbnb, AMC, The Trade Desk, Beyond Meat, Applavin, Energy Transfer, Duolingo, and Exact Sciences. I didn't know Duolingo was now public. That's interesting. When I lived in Guatemala, people who developed Duolingo actually are from Guatemala. And it was all the rave. Roblox. Actually, I use Duolingo regularly because I was learning Spanish. Yes, I was. Roblox is Thursday morning. GigaCloud, Warner Brothers, Discovery, MPW is here. Plug, which is also in the EV space. Constellation, Sundial, which is in the cannabis space, I believe. Kronos Group, Canadian Solar, Viatris. I think there's some movement that's happening in the cannabis space because they're working towards getting cannabis approved and legal all the way across the board, probably at a federal level. So that's going to be a good thing for those cannabis stocks when those get moving. Marathon is Thursday after Mara. I'm sure this is anticipated because they are in the crypto space. Thursday, Mara is going to have earnings after close. SoundHound, another one in the crypto space. CleanSpark, all these are in this crypto space. How are they all doing earnings on the same day? Interesting. Unity, RCI Hospitality, Vuzix, Caliber Indy, ADMA Biologics, and NewScale. And then Friday morning before the market opens, we've got Inspired, Enbridge, DigitalOcean, AMC Networks. I'm not sure who. Road, ROAD, Sphere, Now, HEI, CRH, that says an H, and Soho House. That is all the earnings we have for this week. Duolingo's recent with an IPO. Oh, and they're already doing earnings. SoundHound is in the AI space. Okay, not the crypto space. I was thinking that they don't tie in together. Somehow I thought SoundHound was also in the crypto space, but AI sounds like it's ARM is semiconductor. I've got all of them wrong. ARM is semiconductors. Yes. Mara is in the crypto space. SoundHound is in the AI space. There we go. Semiconductor. There we go. Sorry. Jamie's going. That's what Jamie's here for. One of the reasons why he's here. He's here for many, but that's one of the reasons why he's here is to make sure that I don't tell us too much wrong stuff. Don't tell us too much wrong stuff. Here's our list of trades for the week. Now, I've noticed as we went through some of these that there are several of these that are showing up on the earnings list, which I thought was interesting. That when I looked at the watch list on Peakbot, that the blue did not show up on any of those. No blue on the watch list. Yet several have earnings this week, telling the people whose job it is to make sure that it's fixed or is working properly. All right, so we've got some put credit spreads from the Peakbot watch list. We've got some call credit spreads, and we've got some iron condors. Now, what happens is I use Peakbot watch list, right? We can go to use peakbot.com/watch lists. I use the watch list to pull the bullish, bearish, and neutral stocks. The ones that are in the bullish, I use the low risk and the moderate risk categories. And I put the ones that are bullish, the ones that are bearish, and the ones that are neutral. I put them in these categories. I'm the one who sets these strikes. Peakbot they choose strikes based on the delta the day of, right? So of course I can't create this graphic the day of while the market is open per se, because it wouldn't be timely enough for you to use it and to get yourselves prepared for tomorrow morning. But what we do, I take this list, I take the stocks off that watch list, and then I go through and determine what I believe would be good, safe strikes for the trades. But what I want you to do, if you're going to use some of these, is to make sure that before you enter these trades, you look again at what the stock has done in the pre-market and what it has done maybe the first hour or so. We don't rush in as sellers. We don't rush in at 9:30. No. We wait till 10:30-ish, 11, let stuff settle down, and then see which of these stocks you'd like to, or trades you'd like to do for the week. Okay, you're putting on for Friday expirations. That's how we do that. Okay, so I picked a few off here. Anybody, if you see anything on this list that you want me to look at, then we can. But I'm going to show you the ones I'm going to look at. I'm going to go C. I'm going to go RCL. I'm going to go TSM. I'm going to go INTC. I'm going to go XOM. I'm going to go SBucks, Starbucks, and I'm going to do pins. Those are the ones that I'd like to look at. But if you've got something on this list that you'd like us to look at as well, then go ahead and put that in the comments so that we can take a look, right? One thing I see here that I mentioned that's having earnings is Tyson. Tyson is having earnings first thing in the morning on Monday. So, or I think this was pre-market, which is actually probably a good thing because even if you still want to trade Tyson, Tyson is first thing in the morning on Monday before open. So if you still want to trade Tyson, you can, right? You can trade it coming out of earnings and then ride through the week, right? That's one. I think I saw that Oxy has earnings this week as well. So keep your eye on that if you want to trade that one. I think those might have been the only two I saw from the list that might have been the only ones I saw on the list. Okay. Do we have anything else that we see? Let's take us back to the stage. Come on, there we go. You see what I'm looking at. You're just gonna ride out with me with the ones I pick, huh? Okay. Sounds good. Sounds good. Okay. So we are here. The first one I had on my list was Citigroup. Citigroup is the first one on the list. Let me go over here, focus on the other screen. Even though I can see it right here, I need to be operating it right here in front of me on the laptop. Alrighty. So this is Citigroup. Looking at it from a weekly standpoint. Looking at it from a weekly standpoint. Looks like it's right at the sitting still. You know, if you boom, 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 it's kind of hovering here at this support area. Now, what we see is there's a upside down or an inverted hammer. Honestly, not even I really wouldn't even call that a hammer. I really would call that a doji because it is T90 for sure. Okay, y'all hold on a minute. Let me close the door. All righty. I don't know if y'all can see me anyway. Am I on the screen? I don't think I am. There we go. Put myself back. I really don't use volume on here, so I'm going to take it off so I can have all the room on the chart that I need. Equities. I don't need the option, this volume subgroup. There we go. Okay. I think I want to look at the weekly chart though, so I can see that there is, make sure that I put credit spread because it is showing, showing in the bullish category, probably because of this nice upwards trend that we have going, that Citigroup has going. It's got a nice little upwards trend going here. Right. Support would be at 59. It's really like right between two zones as well because there's resistance just above it at 63. And it's been in this zone for the last 3, 4, 6 weeks. It has stayed in this zone for 6 weeks. So C might honestly be able to fall into the iron condor list. I was trying to figure out, could fall into the iron condor list. So I want you to, decide on your own, but it looks like we're right in between two zones on the weekly chart. It's been consolidating between those two zones for the last 5 or 6 weeks. So let's see. I say 61. The strikes I gave. What strikes did I give for Citigroup? Cannot see that. Nope. Not what I wanted. Okay, downloads. Show me what I'd like to see, please. There it is. Nope, that was last week's. Looks like Citigroup strikes 59.60. 59.60. So we've got a put credit spread in this area. Let me find us some words we can write on the screen. Remember, as I share these are the things that I see, not investment advice. There we go. Put credit spread 59.60. Not investment advice, just me saying might be something you can take a look at. Right? This puts you underneath your support. There's actually another support in here. 60 and some change, 60.16. So 59.60 puts you even below that. But you could even, depending on if you're looking for some iron condor money, you could also consider doing a call credit spread. I would look at 64.65. Honestly, I probably would get a little closer, but that would be the same. That would probably be the safest place. No comments, Mr. Jamie, because he'll say something like, Alyssa likes to get in tight. But let me go. I'm gonna go look at the option chain and see what I like about if that strike is light. Look here at, we use the probability out of the money column. Let me turn this back to single. The probability out of the money column here on the call side shows that 63 has a 78% chance of being out of the money. And as sellers, we want to be out of the money. And a 90% chance at 64. So I said 60, 64, 65. I still would have went with 63. So I'm going to change this. Now you can go a little bit further away when you're, where'd my note go? When you're doing it as an iron condor, because you're collecting money on both sides. So because you're collecting money on both sides, you don't have to feel like you need to be as aggressive for each of these as far as premiums go, right? Because you can take in premium from both sides and use that same collateral. So those are two possibilities. I put it on the put credit spread list because if it does have that upwards trend going, but it may provide some opportunities for a call credit spread as well. LS says, where would you open SPX put credit spread 35-day? You're gonna have to specify your question a little bit better. SPX put credit spreads 30. I don't see what 35-day is. Tell me a little bit more information. Okay, so that was C. Let's move to RCL while we wait for LS to give us some more information on the question. Okay, let's go look at the weekly chart. Looking at Royal Caribbean. The cruise lines have been coming on up. We're looking at the summer. People are traveling. They still aren't really back at their former glory. So there may be some opportunities as far as stock pricing and such. Okay. What I have there is a trend line on the weekly chart. I put on a trend line here. Let's see what we have for support and resistance on the weekly chart. Go down into 128. Got this. It was resistance back here, and now it's support because price has gone through it. If you wanted to go a little lower, which is kind of no reason to go this low, 115.79. If we're looking for resistance, we got to go back a little ways. We might have to go back. Let me get might need more data. Let's see. Oh, I'm going back 3 years. I might need to go back more years. Let me take it to 5. Anytime you go back more time, it takes up more data. 35-day expiration. Okay. Well, you really, if you're going, tell me the date. That's 35 days from now. Tell me what date you're looking at. Royal Caribbean, I'm sure it's been up here, but it's been a while. Looking at the monthly chart, Trying to see if I can find some resistance up here, but I may have to go get some more data. Oh, I wanted 5 years. Can you give me what I asked for, please? Maybe they were. Royal Caribbean had to be. Were they not a stock less than 5 years ago? Because it's not going back any further. So we're above. Looks like we may be at definitely recent highs or all-time high even at this point, because 134 is the highest thing I see up here back from December of 4 or 5 years ago, whenever this was. When was this? Let me add this up, make this bigger. What year are we in? $2020? Yep, in 2020, they were up at 134, and we're above that. We're at 138 right now. No, LS, what I'm asking you is tell me, if you want to do 35 days expiration, tell me what date that is you want me to look at. What expiration date? I hear you saying you want to enter tomorrow, but I'm asking you what expiration date are you talking about? Okay, so I did the monthly, weekly. Looks like on the weekly chart, we are going up. And at this point, you can do your, fib extensions to see, but if we've been on an upwards trend, you definitely would be safer hanging out with a put credit spread. Let's go to the daily chart. When we go to the daily chart, we can see some more supports that may be a little bit closer. For Royal Caribbean, I suggested 133, 134 as the strike price. Well, I'm saying, not necessarily suggesting. 133, 134 puts you down in this zone in the middle, right in there. 133, 134. Okay. Current price is at 138. Resistance from current price is at 143. It's been the high. So somewhere in between these two. But I'm thinking if we're doing a put credit spread, 133, 134. And I came up with that too from probability out of the money. 134 is 75% probability out of the money. If you want a little more safety, you can go down another one. If you'd like 132, 133, looking at a one spread, which will call for $100 of collateral minus the money that you take in. I'm going to switch to vertical real quick. We'll look at 130, 133, 134, I think is what I suggested. That's paying $19. The market is closed. So the market is closed at this point. You can't necessarily base the prices how much you're going to pull in on premiums, but it should be somewhere close depending on what price does as soon as market opens. But this is why I always say, go look at the zones and the strikes you like. Go look at them again once the market's open to see if you still like those same strikes. Because you might decide going up a little bit because price has gone up in pre-market, or going down some because price has dropped in pre-market. You want to make that decision in the moment. Okay. Taiwan Semiconductors. Let's go look at the chart. Let's go check the chart. Start with the chart. Y'all know we have a free webinar that is available to you. Start with the chart.com. It's a free webinar on charting. Okay, we've got Taiwan Semiconductors. Have a gap here that is between the last 2 weeks. This is the weekly chart we're on again. Come on, there we go. We've got a gap between 136.27 and 138.88. And it might be the numbers, maybe 84, maybe a little closer. Hey, Karan, you have a lot of questions. Oh, goodness. Okay, well, ask away. We'll answer all that we can. We'll answer all that we can, okay? So 138.58 I see as support based on back in April 26th, April 29th, those weeks. This is the, so this is the daily chart. Let me go to the weekly because I wanted to see that. I wanted to start with the weekly chart first. I started with the daily. Okay. Got a lot of lines here in the middle of the days when that came from the weekly chart. I might have to take some of these off so I can see if they're still where they should be. Okay, 126.58 I see as weekly support as well as 133.10, which is right where that wick came down to and turned around. You can do all the seller strategies if you don't own the shares. You can do covered calls. That one you kind of not as much. You kind of need to have the shares. But you can always buy the shares and then trade the covered calls if you'd like. Really selling puts and doing put credit spreads, call credit spreads, those are the ones that would be best without the shares. Cash secured puts, put credit spreads, call credit spreads. Where's my mouse? Where are you? Oh, there you are. Okay. TSM on the weekly chart. Okay, I see closest support is 133.10, and put Taiwan Semiconductors is on the put credit spread list, right? 136, 137 is the strike I have. I also see some support right here, 136.26. Support there. Current price is at 141.56, but the resistance zone is at 146. It's 141.56, but resistance is at 146. So you do want to be mindful. It is on an upwards trend, as we can see. See, we on an upwards ride. That 20-period moving average still playing some support is there. Let's look at the daily chart. Something we're doing for the month of May is called Sim May. Sim May, something I came up with, all on my own. And what we're doing, though, is we're utilizing the Sim for this month of May. If you've got a strategy that you'd like to learn to trade, then we want you to practice it in the Sim. Practice it in your paper account. And paper trading can be literally on paper. Right? Paper account can literally be on paper. Or if you are with a broker that has a paper trading account like TD Ameritrade, Thinkorswim, Schwab, they got paper trading. There's a few others that have paper trading, not a lot, not all of them. If you're in TradeStation or some of the others, if not, then trade literally on paper. And say, this is a stock. I think I would do this, that, write it down. And then as time passes, see if it does what you expected it to do. But we're practicing in the Sim before we go live with our real money. You want to make sure that whatever strategy you're using is repeatable and scalable. You want a strategy that is repeatable and scalable. Okay. Okay. Let me finish this, Karan, then I'm going to answer your question about the time frame. Okay, so we're on the daily chart now. Support 138.58 here. Again, we're at 141 on the stock price. Support at 136 and some change right in this area. This is a whole zone here based on this candle on 5-3. So I still would go with, say, put credit spread. And we have 136, 137. That came with charting as well as 36, 137. 137 has a 77% probability out of the money. Now, this is not a stagnant number. These numbers change as price moves, right? So this is not 77, it's going to be 77 the whole week. No, as price moves, this probability out of the money also moves. All right. So you want to make sure that you're comfortable with whatever strike price we pick, that you're comfortable with that strike price for 2 or 3 or 4 days. Generally, you've got 3 days, 4 days before it's done what you want to do, and your trade should be ready for exit. 3 or 4 days. Sometimes it take you all the way to Friday, but many times it's ready to close early. You just got to let it go. You got to release it. Don't try to hold on to the last penny or the last dollar. You need to let it go. Okay. So that's what I was saying. Let me put us a little note here. Put what we said here for Taiwan Semiconductors. Put credit spread. I put 136, 137 on the graphic. 136, 137. That will be up in here. Okay, that's going to be the middle of this gap is also going to have some support as well. So again, if I'm eyeballing it in the middle, that should give us some support above your put credit spread strike. So Karan asks, do you suggest I get options 1 to 2 months out? I keep losing money doing 2 weeks or weekly. So I don't really know what strategies you're using. First of all, are you using seller strategies, Karan? Because if you're using seller strategies, you can go out a week or a month or two. For me, that would be a little far because I like to have theta, eating up my premium so my trade can get ready to close quicker. And then if you're doing them 2 weeks or a week out, I'd like to know what you're using to determine your strikes. Are you getting too close, maybe based on premiums and not getting under support or under the things? There's lots of questions in here. Could there be, how are you charting? How are you deciding on which strikes to pick? Are you picking on a direction? Like in this case, we're looking at Taiwan Semiconductors, and it does have some, it's trending upwards. Basically, Taiwan Semiconductors has been trending upwards. So, are you going with the trend? Or are you anticipating the turnaround and going with something that's maybe putting you in the middle of a train ride? Are you, NVIDIA, NVIDIA has been going up for a long time. Yes, it has had some pullback, but are you getting in front of the train? So even though it is pulling back some, it's still going up, right? So are you going with the trends or are you trading against the trends? Those are some things that maybe, how close are you getting in your strikes? And I'm looking over here because this is where my comments are. Are you getting too close with strikes? Are you trading with the trend? What are you using to pick your strikes? You usually trade SPY and do put or calls, nothing fancy. Okay, well, I am a seller coach. I trade sellers. I coach sellers. I do know how to trade SPY for puts and calls, but listen, you don't have to be doing nothing fancy for SPY to eat up your money. So I'm gonna leave that. I'm gonna leave the calls and puts question to the people who are more masters of calls and puts, and that ain't me. That ain't me. I trade put credit spreads and call credit spreads, and we're sellers. So I'm sorry, I can't assist. I cannot assist. Okay. That was put credit spreads. Let's go with call credit spreads. I've got INTC. It's on our list, like NVIDIA and Meta. Yep. Those are big ones. Yep. Those are the big boys. And there's a lot more moving parts when you're trading as a buyer than when you're trading as a seller. And you got to enter right. You got to exit right. You got to have your time set. The move got to keep going. There's a lot of different things you got to consider when you're trading as a buyer. So I don't know. What I do like, and I've mentioned it to my community a little bit, I do like the trading program, the trading strategy of the Strat. I'm not sure if you ever heard of this Strat. I do like the way the strat looks. It is very clear on entries and exits. And I think if you're going to be a buyer, then you may want to consider investing some time in learning the strat. I like it because it's very visual and it's got clear-cut entry and exit and stop loss things. The trading strategy. It's by Rob Jones, I think is the person who created it. Either Rob Jones or Rob Smith. Alrighty, so Intel. Let's go to in the wrong place, pushing the wrong buttons. Let's look at the weekly on Intel. Intel just been struggling. They definitely on a struggle bus, but I think Intel still has so much potential. I really want them to get it together. I want Intel to get it together. But Intel is on the call credit spread list, and it's no wonder, seeing that we've been on the downwards ride for a minute. That's why they're on the call credit spread list. Call credit spreads is a bearish strategy. It's a bearish strategy. I actually probably could move this one down into this area. Okay, so down, we've had 5 weeks of downwards motion, but let's see what I see for support, because it is in a support area, and there's another support area just above it or just beneath it. Let me see. I like that one. That is fond of that one. Okay. Got some support, 31.55, like really right around where it is right now. And you've got support down around 28.87. Current price is $30.90. But we're not looking at support per se. We're looking at resistance because we're looking at call credit spreads. We're looking at call credit spreads. So let's see. I do also see we're on the weekly chart, right? Which means we're looking at a week's worth of data. Every candle is 1 week's worth of data. Okay, what I selected for the Intel strike was 29.30. I picked 29.30. I must have been looking on the wrong. Let's look at this option chain because 29.30 talk about being close. That would be very close. I think 29.30 would be a put credit spread. Nope. Let's not do that. Let's look for a call credit spread, and I like 31.5 or 32. 31.5 or 32. I don't like 31.5, a little close. Let's go with 32.33. You like 80% in the money on other platforms, similar to 80% chance of profit on Rob. Yes, exactly. Very. You can look at the delta on our option chain, on the Thinkorswim option chain, and that's the same as the delta on Robinhood. So delta would be the exact same, but the probability in the money, out of the money, they're running all the delta. That's all pretty much the same thing, right? INTC, I'm looking at, what did I say? Did I say 32 for the credit spread? I need to edit that graphic. I think I said 32.33 as a call credit spread. Yeah, I wouldn't go with a put credit spread because INTC has been going down. I'm going down. Yeah, it's been going down. I'll need to edit that on the graphic because that's not what we want. We want a call credit spread number. That's what happens when you do it rushing. Okay. Intel, that's what I would go with, 32.33. Let's look at XOM. XOM. We're on the weekly chart still. XOM has been charted several more times because we trade XOM pretty regular in our community. But Exxon had a huge little momentum run, boom, 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 right? And it has now started pulling back a bit, but it is just below what would have been support, but it went through there. So this support zone, though, a zone, anytime you see me put lines on a chart, it's a zone. It's not a hard line. They are zones. And we need to always remember that this wick, all this is price action. So even though I put my line at the bottom of the box, doesn't mean that there can't be some more downwards motion inside of a zone. So I just don't put two lines on my chart because that can get too confusing for me. And I already know, me. And if there's too many things to look at, my focus I start to struggle. So resistance wise, though, we've got 121 up here. Let me change to see if this is any stops that happened in here. Yes, 120 is also resistance area. Change this back to candles. Now let's go to the daily chart. The daily chart. Okay. Oh, we got a big old right here. This last candle from Friday. Where are you? We're moving too fast. There you go. It's so chinchy, you almost can't see it. Y'all see this little candle? Wow. Open and close at literally the same spot. And it happened 2 days in a row. This one had the price went up a bit, a lot of selling pressure. So it ended almost at the same place. And then it opened on Friday, dropped really bad, and basically pushed right back up to where it opened. It's another doji. Or this really can probably go in a mini hammer, like an ice pick category. But this long wick does say that the sellers tried and the buyers said not so. This one would require a little bit of watching, I think, into the next days or so, because that long wick is telling, but it's open and close at the same place, which kind of gives you a hint of indecision. But this long wick says that the buyers were not letting the seller take it down. And we are right here at a support area. So what I did for Exxon is on the call credit spread list, and it's on the call credit spread list with 121 as the call credit spread strike price. And the reason is we have a gap up here that still has yet to be filled. So halfway through the gap, I've got some resistance here. And I incorporated the plus minus number, which you can't see the plus minus or the implied volatility number. Actually, it's right here. This one, this plus minus number over here to the right, I use this to help along with the probability out of the money, which 118 is 75, but the plus or minus, are we on Exxon? Where are we at? Plus minus 2.4. So if we add 2.4, that really puts us at 118. Wonder why I picked 121. Probably because of the 121 is a much higher probability out of the money. I probably wouldn't go any higher than 119, to be honest. Let me go look back at the chart again. Yeah, I probably would get to the bottom of this gap and go, because there's some also resistance. It's going to be right here based on this candle over here, the 118.54. So 119 would put you above that. I like 119 better. I really do. Let's put this on the chart. I think I said that was 21. INTC. Did I say? Oh no, I said 32. Putting this on my notes so I can edit the graphic. Okay. 119, 120. Let's go. Let me put me some. Here we go. Call credit spread. Call credit spread. 119, 120. Who's got questions along the way? Anybody got some questions or comments? We've been on about an hour. Make sure you like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell. Hit the thumb up. Listen, if you want to send some super chat stickers or whatever, then those were always appreciated. But please go ahead, like and subscribe to the channel. turn on the bell, hit the thumbs up, so that way YouTube will send us to more people and more folks can see what we're doing over here, that the sellers are still here. We're doing our thing and we're analyzing what could be some potential trades for next week. Tell your friends, like and share, like and share, like and share, like they always say on those videos. Be sure to like and share. Okay. I think that was Exxon, which Exxon goes with the call credit spread, but I would definitely look at it for a put credit spread too, because of the way this look. I would keep an eye on it for a put credit spread also, because there seems like there may be some potential for a put credit spread as well. Iron condors are our jam. Why do we like iron condors? Iron condors are great because you get money on both sides of the trade. You get money on both sides of the trade when you do an iron condor, and you only use one set of collateral. Condors are put credit spread and call credit spread together. We go together. My computer's keeping all this stuff running. I don't think I have but one charting thing open. I don't know why. Maybe it's running the StreamYard and running Thinkorswim. Okay. That was Exxon. Next one on our list. Starbucks. Does anybody here trade Starbucks? If you're somebody who trades Starbucks, put me in the chat. Put me in the comments if you trade Starbucks. Not if you drink Starbucks, do you trade? And if you drink Starbucks, you should trade Starbucks. I'm telling you, if you drink it, you should trade it. Get something back out of the deal. This is the weekly chart. They didn't have a great week. They had earnings last week, and it didn't go all that fantastic, as you can tell. This big red candle for last week did not do them much service. Let me see if I can see some support. Even though we're looking for a call credit spread, I still want to see where is support. The bottom of this zone would be at 68.45, which is about $5 away from where we currently are. But if we went to the bottom of the boxes, then we're at 71, which is a couple dollars below where we are. Again, we're looking currently for call credit spread, but it is good to know if it's, if this stock is coming into a support zone. You do want to know that, because it could, potentially hit a support and make that move. This is the area where it hit and it went up and it's danced around a little bit, but this was the last time it was down in this area. It hit the support zone, which was 516 a couple years back. May, so we're in 24, 23, 22, maybe 21. I think that's 2021 it was down this low. Iron condors increase your odds of making money. Well, what they do, I'm going to say, on one hand, I will say yes, definitely increase your odds, because one of those sides is going to be profitable. So if you have a put credit spread here and a call credit spread here, one of these trades is going to be profitable, right? Can it go through the other one and cause max loss? Yes, but max loss is reduced when you have money that you took in on both sides. If you do two sides and you collect $50 in premiums, that means your max loss is only $50. If you only do one side and you collect, let's say, $25, then your max loss is $75. So if that trade gets breached, then you lose $75. But if you have both trades going and you collected premiums on both sides and one of them is breached, then your max loss is brought down. So that way you have a better chance of losing less money. And if the stock price stops in the middle, you keep all the money. Yep. You should get something out of Starbucks after paying between $3 and $5. I do agree, because to me, the Starbucks coffee is not delicious. It's the drinks that are more delicious, but like their coffee and all that great, really. It's the, caramel macchiato or the mixture of the teas or whatever it is you're going to get out of there. Those are the things that to me taste better. But I'm not a Starbucks purchaser in general. So 91.82 is what I see as resistance here. That's what I see as resistance. That's way up there. This is a weekly chart. I still must have been looking at, I think I look at put credit spread so much because when I look at the call credit spread numbers, I got 70, 71 on there. That's definitely put credit spread numbers, not call credit spread numbers. So let's look. We're on the weekly chart. I see 88 here. There's some more stuff happening. This big old candle, there's lots of stuff that happened inside that candle. Lots of stuff that happened inside that candle. Now let's go to the daily and look on the call credit spread side and get ourselves some realistic numbers. Okay. We had a huge gap down with earnings. So that has definitely left us with a gap. You go to Dunkin' Donuts more often. Yeah. Dunkin' Donuts. People like it too. There's a big old gap when it gapped down from earnings. It may try to go back up in there. Notice I said support is at 71.75 and we're at 73 and some change. So if I was looking, and we are talking about call credit spread, I would go partway through this gap, probably into 82 in that area. Let's go look on the option chain. Current price is 73 plus minus 2. That takes us to like 75. 75. I would 75, 76 from the probability out of the money standpoint. 75, 76. And the bottom of the gap is also going to, nope, would also provide some resistance. There we go. 75, 76. Or 76, 77, depending on your level of aggression. Some people are more aggressive traders than others. Call credit spread, 75, 76. That should be a 6. 75, 76. Come on, there we go. Yep, we're in the right place. That's in the right zone. Yeah, I make my coffee more than I pick it up too. If I end up buying coffee, I will buy it from like a Wawa or a racetrack. But at this point, I drink decaf, and everybody doesn't have decaf. And if they do, it sometimes has been sitting because most people don't drink decaf. So decaf is not always around. Not always. I'm gonna try me some cold brew. Maybe I'll do that today. I'll make some coffee tonight and then put it in the refrigerator so that I can try this whole cold brew wave. Because I've never tried cold brew. I mean, I usually like my coffee warm, but it's weird because I will still drink my coffee even after it gets cold. So I think I might do that when I get off the phone with y'all. When I go to make dinner, I will make me some coffee and put it in a pot. Do me some cold brew. Anybody make their own cold brew at home? Sounds yummy. Tanya says, I like the flavor hazelnut cream is one of the flavors I really like. And I found it in a decaf coffee flavored hazelnut cream. And when they had it at Winn-Dixie, and they had it like $3 off for the bag. It ain't a pound no more, by the way. The price of coffee hasn't changed, but the amount that's in the bag has changed. Used to be a pound of coffee, now it's 12 ounces. So the price didn't change though. Anyway, in this case, the price was down $3. So all the ones that they had that were decaf of the flavor I wanted, I bought all the bags they had, and they had like 4 or 5. I was like, yep, that means I'm gonna get it for a good price from now on. Because I don't drink it that often. I don't drink it very often. All right, so let's do Pinterest. Pinterest is in our neutral box. as an iron condor. Oh yeah, I cleared the shelf. Y'all go on and give me these for $6.99 a 12 ounce, because it ain't a pound. It was a 12 ounce. There was a gap back here. Let's look. We got to go a little deeper into this charting. I probably need to go to the weekly chart to see the candle, the weekly chart, and see what's going on. So this gap from February is now, well, the price went into this gap to start kind of filling it. I know we use Pinterest. I use Pinterest. You go looking at Pinterest for all kind of stuff. You want to, update your living room space, or you want to figure out how do you grow plants in a small apartment. I mean, anything you're looking for, you can find on Pinterest. Pinterest is now like a search engine like the others. Come on. Okay, let's see. Maybe I can grab it from here. There we go. All righty. So we had a big old gap from February of this year. And it has jumped. Basically, we jumped and started filling the gap, but not totally. So I'm going to move the top of this down. Now, I'm a fan of Arabica coffee. When I was in Guatemala, that's a perfect place for coffee to be grown. One of the perfect places. So I will usually get Arabicas, but I like the flavors too. And generally, they don't always have the flavors. Blue Mountain or Columbia. Yep. Okay, so that's the gap that we have. And Pinterest jumped into the big gap a little bit and went on to the top of it. And the top of the gap, which is resistance, when it was the top of the gap, that did provide resistance. And it did with these two candles. And now it's coming back. So is it going to continue to come back? Not really sure. But if we're looking at resistance up here, 41.21 is resistance on the top side, and on the bottom side, this gap is going to provide support. So between the bottom of the gap, 37, and the top of these candles back here in February, we've got a little area where it's just going to hang. Maybe it'll come back into this gap and try to fill it. Definitely may do that. Ward Janae wants to know if you're Jamaican. Let me see if there's anything on the weekly chart we need. Jamaica, man. I like Jamaica. Oh, I would go back in a heartbeat. On the weekly chart, we're on the weekly chart now. That 41.21 is still resistance there. Support is right where we have it. There's more supports underneath here as well. Let me put another couple on here just to see. 34 and 32 down here. Now, Pinterest is in the neutral territory. So it is showing up as call credit spread and put credit spread. So let's go see what would we do for our numbers. I had 38.5 on the bottom, and I had 43 on the top. 43 up here, which may be a little high. That's definitely higher than this. And 38.5 is going to be partway through this gap, about halfway through the gap. Let's go look on the option chain. Current price is $40.41. We're looking at the option chain for our probability out of the monies. That's how I picked 38.5 is based on it's over 80%. 38.5 is above 80% probability out of the money. And the 43. Actually, 43 is a little bit higher than what I would probably go. I probably would go with 42. But because you're trading as an iron condor, you can, again, take one more step away. So that way you make sure that you're good and safe. Plus minus 1.5 over here. So that really puts us at 42. So 42 would probably be a safe place. But I look at the chart. 42 is just above these two resistance places, so it probably would be fine as well. But 43, to be safe, let's go ahead and put this on our chart so you all can see. I'm visual. I'm sure y'all are too. I probably would do call credit spread 42, 43 or 43, 44. It's really going to be up to, since the price is up here a little closer, you might feel like it's going to go through that resistance, may make you a little bit more nervous. And a put credit spread of 37.5, 38.5. Okay, that's what I see for the 7 stocks we just looked at. I didn't think we had any more that were requested. I don't think we had any more that were. If there is another one, then go ahead and put that into the chat. We're doing, as I told you, we're doing Sim May. Sim May. I want to say it faster than, because who did I say Sim May? And they were like, do what? Sim May. We already started last week. We're picking a strategy that you want to learn and test, and you're going to run it all of May in your Sim or in your paper account. Okay, no real money on this strategy. If you're just testing or learning it, you're going to not put any real money on it until it's proven to work, until June or until it's proven. Okay, likewise from BK. Okay, so yeah, this is what we're doing. SimMate. You feel free to post your trades in our telegrams. Those of you who are not in telegrams, you have my Educator to Trader telegram. That's the big one where it's basically free for all. And if those who are in the in the paid telegrams, let's post our SimMate trades. People have already started doing that, and we're doing Sim for the month of May on new strategies that we're testing or back testing. We're using the Sim. I wanted to share with you a little bit about PeakBot, just because we talk about them regularly, and we've been talking about the trend spreads bot. Last week, I did Delta Airlines and TQQQ. What PeakBot did was I selected the stock, and PeakBot entered these trend spreads. Notice that one was a put credit spread and one was a call credit spread, because PeakBot determines, the algorithm determines whether it's bullish or bearish or neutral, right? So it determined that Delta Airlines was bullish, TQQQ was bearish. It entered these trades on last Friday. That Friday the 26th is when PeakBot entered these trades. 1.5 spread here. I collected $19. I closed it for $5, which I didn't have to close them because the bot will actually close the trades for you at the end of the week as well. I just closed them early because, it was like 2-0 Wednesday, and I'm an active trader who is looking at them enough. Now, for those who are just who are passive traders who want the bot to do it all for you, it can. The bot will do it for you. TQQQ. 58.5, 61.5 call credit spread, $300 worth of collateral. I collected $52. I closed it for $3. I kept a profit of $49. Add these two together, I collected $63 in premiums using $450 in collateral, which is a 14% return on my collateral in less than a week. All right, so consider using PeakBot as your automated trader as a seller. Now, the brokers that PeakBot uses, it uses Tradier. Where are we? I need my thing. It uses Tradier. It uses Schwab is going to be live on, did we say the 13th or the 20th? I think we said y'all remember from yesterday, those who were on the call yesterday? I'm thinking 13th, but yes, I think it's 13th. Tradier, Schwab, and Tasty Trade. Those are the brokers that PeakBot uses at this point. They're working on a couple of others. I think Webull is in works. That's coming. It's in the pike, so that could be coming as well. For those of us like me who are still on TD Ameritrade, it still works with TD Ameritrade, but almost everybody now is shifting over. Like I'm moving to Schwab. I want to say this week. It's supposed to be this week. I'm not ready. I want to stay where I'm at. I want to stay with TD Ameritrade, but they are still keeping Thinkorswim, which is good because I trade Thinkorswim. I didn't really use a TD Ameritrade platform anyway. I used Thinkorswim. All right, but that's what I wanted you to see from what's kind of update coming out of Peakbot. Nope, I don't want that to show. We talked about Start with the Chart as a free webinar to learn charting. You all saw me doing things like the 20-period moving average I talked about the trend line and supports and resistance. I went from weekly and all that. We talked about what the candles are doing. All those things are discussed in the Start with the Chart webinar. It's a free webinar. It's for the free, gratis. All right. Go ahead and take a look at that. Right. I don't know what's the next chart there, the next slide. So I'm going to stop there. Do we have anything else that we want to discuss today? I've gone through, let me see what the next thing is. Okay. I've gone through last week's action. I went through what I believe we're going to have for this coming week's action. We've talked about 7 trade ideas, and I gave you a graphic that included all the trade ideas that we had. I need to update that graphic before I republish it. All righty. Okay, everyone. What is that on my shirt? Anyway, doesn't matter. I was getting ready to go into a story. No need. No necesito. Okay, so tomorrow morning, we are on live tomorrow morning, right here, same bat station. I want to say same bat time, same bat station here tomorrow morning at 9:25. We trade the open, seeing what the market is doing when it opens up. We do charting. We check out what are the biggest movers. What do we need to help get into our trades? And that's what we're here for. Every morning, we actually do that at 9:25. We do that. And you should feel free to join us. Definitely should join us. All right. Remember, in this community, we do 2 things. We'd like to stay green and we'd like to get this money. All right. I will see you all later. Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye, everyone.